Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Lorena Birdy and Jacob Warren. We're talking about property management because you work with Birdy Property Management company. Is that the right title for the company?
Yeah.
Okay.
PMI Birdy Properties, yes.
Yeah, just look up Birdy. It's a great name of a company. I mean, people remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to finish my story about my first jury trial that involved an eviction. My client was the self-managed owner of the property. She didn't live there, and the tenants stopped paying. They demanded things be done or fixed, and there was arguments about everything. And I was a brand new attorney. This was a long time ago. And there was a judge in my Rotary Club, and I said, I'm going to this trial in some county I've never been about eviction, and she said, well, just remember that when there's an eviction action, the only question is who has the right to be there. And so that changed the whole case for me, because the lawyer on the other side said that there were damages and they shouldn't have to pay for this or that or the other. Well, what that judge told me is that the only issue that matters is who owns the property. And so I didn't have to address any of that other garbage. And this other attorney, I would talk to him on the phone, and he would say things like, I'm going to put your client on the stand and I'm going to tear her heart out. Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's not very professional behavior. And I didn't know what to do about it. So I just, God blessed me with some level of ignorance or being naive. So I just continued on. Well, I get to the trial, and the first thing you have to do is pick your jury. And so I knew only one question I need to ask. Can you guys guess what it is?
Who's the landlord?
Who owns
How
the
many of you own your own home?
Oh, yeah.
There was one guy that didn't. And I said, you're out. Because I knew that the owners would be on side of the owner.
Yep.
And I did win that trial. I didn't get paid all of the money that I should have gotten paid, but it was a great experience. I have a great story to tell.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, so this is the legacy segment, and so we like to talk to people about their legacy.
And now, it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
Okay, so you guys know Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and Marquardt Law Firm focuses on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy.
Yeah.
And so I like to put people on the hot seat and ask, what does legacy mean to you, Jacob?
So for myself, so the listeners know I'm a part of a family business, right? I work with my dad, Steve, and my brother, Joseph. And I think when Todd mentioned to me like a minute ago that he was going to ask me about legacy, I thought about when I started to work for my dad and how cool that is that we get to work together every day. Same thing when my brother came in. I think legacy, if I think about the business now, 20 years down the road, it would be really cool to have one of my children, potentially.
There you go.
They're both babies, so who knows what their interest will be. But it would be cool for them to either continue the business, join the business, and continue on the financial
just
planning.
be careful when you make a roadmap for somebody else.
Yes, no, not going to push them into it, but if they're interested.
Yeah,
course.
and you weren't pushed into it.
No, not at all.
That's
it was,
so cool.
It was very much like you said. It was like, see if you're interested in this.
Yeah.
And turns out I was, so here I am.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay, Lorena, what does legacy mean to you? It could be your family, it could be the business. You can give us as much personal detail as you want. Could be your impact on the community.
I wish I could say the same thing as Jacob, because that's where my mind went, is like legacy and keeping the legacy of Birdy Properties and Papa. But my kids don't want anything to do with property management, so I don't see that getting into the business there. But I think legacy to me is just like the reputation that I leave for, Birdy Properties, my children. I want them to remember, that I care deeply about what I did, even though it's property management, and for the community, and just hope my kids remember that aspect of just.
Yeah. Well, think about all those success stories, when you were talking about the divorced woman and she wanted to make an impact on her kids. That began with you.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So what I wanted to bring to this conversation is I have some clients who really enjoy having a lot of properties. When they get one, then they want another one, and then they want another one. And when you start acquiring assets, that's when I think you have a real responsibility to be a good steward of the resources that God gave you, and to take care of it and make sure that you don't lose it due to frivolous lawsuits and things like that. So I like to help them protect assets using estate and business planning techniques. And so if anybody's interested in what that means, we can have a 15-minute phone call. You just call 210-530-4278. Call Marquardt Law Firm at 210-530-4278. And you can learn about how you can get started limiting your liability and protecting your assets. See, the state of Texas protects some of our assets for us. Your home, your car, your tools of trade, some geese, chickens, horses, and other farm animals, your pets, your sporting equipment, $50,000 for an individual. But then that's it. So when I help somebody who has more than that, you have to rely on these other legal strategies in order to protect your property. Because just like there's tenants out there who you thought were good that turn out to be weird or evil, there's people out there that they're looking for their payday, their windfall.
Absolutely.
They'll wreck into you and say it was your fault and try and take all the money that you've worked so hard to achieve.
Right.
So we don't want that to happen. What are some key takeaways for people that are looking to do that? They think, I've got my investments, I've got my 401k, I've got some extra money. They probably heard Lifestyles Unlimited on the radio, and they want the passive income and the good life. So what should they know?
I would say it would be important for them to, before they even purchase anything, to speak to individuals like you guys, property managers as well, and make sure that they really know the full aspect of what they're getting themselves into, because so many people just purchase investment homes and run with it until it's too late, and they're calling me and then I'm calling you, hey, let's put him, create an LLC, put him in a trust, do this. So it's important to do the research before you just kind of get into it.
I met a realtor the other day, and he said that he's been helping investors, new investors. And he said there are some realtors, they don't care whether the house is a good deal or not.
No.
They just want the commission. But
Absolutely.
He said, if I did that, I wouldn't get repeat business. And so he gives a little coaching, and he said he had this one client, she really loved the house. And he said, it's not a good deal. You're not going to make any money on it. And she said, but I really like it. And he said, well, if you're going to do it for investing, you have to do it for the right reason.
Right.
What do you think, Jacob? What are some key takeaways here?
Yeah, I think what you said, if it's a pure investment, you really want to make sure that you have the numbers like dialed in to make sure that you are actually going to make money on the deal. and try to leave like the emotional aspect of the home and all that
Right.
stuff. Like I really love the home, but it, if you're going to end up losing money, you want to make sure that you're running those numbers and making sure that it's truly a good deal, not just looks good.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
My dad always said, buy low and sell high.
Yes. That's
Don't buy
my job.
high.
Yeah.
He said you would make your money when you bought the property.
Right.
Well, for me, he was talking about baseball cards. When you go to the baseball card show, make sure you buy low. All right. Well, we've been talking about property management. If you're curious about this, please call Lorena Birdy. How can they reach you?
They can call me directly at 210-833-9104 or check us out on www.birdy.com. That's birdy.com.
Such a cool name. Reminds me of Tweety Bird. Thank you for listening to Talk Law Radio. If you're interested in some legal topic that's causing you problems or that you don't understand fully, email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. I'm always looking for hidden legal issue blind spots, because if it's your question, somebody else is going to have a question about that same thing. I'm Todd Marquardt. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you.
It's been awesome. I had a blast.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.